Delete Laws says that his game is finished and heading to the printer again. Fans get a sense of deja vu all over again in the never-ending campaign to finish the game. Will his fans be happy with his promised price increase, as he failed to properly calculate shipping costs? Regan Benson gets into physical altercation with Trump supporter in downtown Englewood. For once, she was defending someone else from an out-of-control protester. Is this a major change for the YouTuber? Plus, Chili DeCastro spends Friday demanding fans defend him on Twitter instead of celebrating big win. Did his ego take a major blow when his fans failed to show up en masse? I'm your humble news reader, Pants. I promise that I'm too spectacularly super awesome to be mimicked in an AI form, and you're too incredibly polka-dotted to be an AI bot. Let's get together and experience the delightful passions of auditing insanity. Delete Laws announces possible price increases. Thursday was a strange day for Jose Chili DeCastro, as he briefly lost his Twitter account, saw his AI-generated responses to his Ironton in Nevada livestream go public, and ended his day with an announcement that he may be forced to raise the price of his long-awaited board game because he wasn't sure if it would fit in his shipping mailers. Starting with the Twitter account, his main Delete Laws account was down for most of the morning for unknown reasons. It was listed as "This account does not exist," with partial links to old posts appearing in Twitter's search results for most of the day. It was restored around noon Eastern Time, with no explanation from the diminutive YouTuber, nor rants against the system by DeCastro for its apparent deletion. While DeCastro has been warned by Twitter for an extreme post recently, no warnings appear on his account as of Friday morning. Next up for DeCastro was the release of his latest replies in his refiled lawsuit against the police force of Ironton, Ohio, in Nevada. DeCastro recently aired a video on his YouTube channel in which he used ChatGPT to generate his new filings and offered his AI services to anyone who wanted to learn. The AI services and his AI team seem to have replaced his old document selling services, as now he's not selling legal documents, but apparently selling the ability to learn how to generate those documents using AI. DeCastro's first motion was a motion to extend, as he admitted that he misunderstood a previous ruling by the court. In early April, he filed a motion to extend time to respond to a motion to dismiss by the Lawrence County, Ohio-based defendants in the lawsuit. He was granted a motion to extend the time needed for his response until mid-May. The first filing indicates that he misunderstood the court's ruling and thought it had granted him an extension to respond to both the Lawrence County defendant's motion and the separate Ironton defendant's motion to dismiss. He is now seeking an extension to separately file a reply to the Ironton defendants. DeCastro's second filing was apparently his reply to the Lawrence County defendant's motion to dismiss. In the new filing, DeCastro claims that his accusations are new, as he's officially arguing the time of his arrest without warning, that no final judgment on his claims were ever made, and that he has new First Amendment and Fourth Amendment claims that weren't previously heard in his 3 amended complaints in the original lawsuit. He also argued that any thought of dismissing the case due to lack of jurisdiction or filing an improper jurisdiction should be put aside in favor of transferring the case to the proper jurisdiction. While he briefly argues that the defendants should acknowledge his national platform as having a nationwide impact outside of Ohio, he seemed to concede the point and favors moving the case to Ohio rather than an all-out dismissal. The lawsuit's only tie to the state of Nevada, where the lawsuit is filed, is DeCastro's claim of a 2023 traffic stop in Nevada, where he was put in handcuffs because a notation in a national database from Ohio said that he had violent tendencies. In a bizarre move, DeCastro then challenges the idea that the lawsuit should be dismissed as it does not state a specific claim about any of the defendants. DeCastro defends the generalized claims against anyone involved in the case, restating that he was illegally arrested as a retaliatory action. Again, DeCastro is seeking to have the case moved to Ohio rather than having it dismissed completely. Finally, DeCastro went live Thursday evening with a new address to his fans while walking his dog on the streets of Los Angeles. Looking haggard and tired, with his hair apparently in a comb-over, DeCastro thanked his fans for sticking with him and bragged that he had over 1,000 members of his YouTube channel. He promised that his constitutional headquarters board game would be printed tomorrow, and that his dozens of pre-orders would be filled next week by midweek. He did warn his fans that the price of the game would be increasing, as he was not sure that the game would fit in the $11 mailers he had previously advertised. He suggested a new price of $59 or $69 for the game, as the board was 11 by 17 inches, and he had never weighed or measured the actual product to see if it would fit the packaging. DeCastro also stated that he'd have a significant price increase for the upcoming Teacher's Edition, as it contained a board that could be hung on a wall. The YouTuber paused and envisioned a world where his teachings could be used in every classroom, before announcing that he would be holding daily lectures on the Constitution in the near future. Finally, he promised that he would be giving out hundreds of copies of the game for free, and that his fans should look for opportunities to receive his game during upcoming live chats. DeCastro was wearing a press hoodie during the live stream and promised that he would soon be addressing the project involving the block-lettered hoodies in the near future. The YouTuber did not mention his most recent creation, a GoFundMe for jailed YouTuber Craig Hendry. That fund has floundered since release and brought in $0 for the day. DeCastro was completely embarrassed by YouTuber Clash with Bow, whose active fundraising saw him take the fundraising title for the day, with a $2,005 haul, followed by our own ongoing expense campaign that drew $70 for the day, and Lane Meyer's Give, Send, Go campaign, which took in $17. Journalism in Crisis. Both ReallyCoolSite.org's daily newspaper and our daily newscasts are funded by your continuing donations and what we make from our YouTube AdSense revenue each month. If you'd like to contribute to help us with keeping the lights on, eating, feeding the cats, and writing news stories to feature on both the newspaper and newscast each day, we do have a GoFundMe set up. The URL is on your screen now. As real American and true protector of the First Amendment, Lane Myers has made multiple threats to sue us in recent days. Portions of all donations may also go towards fighting any possible future lawsuits. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch our entire videos, like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in. Regan Benson attacked by pro-Trump protester. Activist for the homeless Regan Benson was assaulted Wednesday night by an apparently drunk woman while live streaming coverage of an anti-Trump protest in downtown Englewood, Colorado. Benson started her live stream by getting out of her car and walking her diminutive dog Slabby over to a family protesting at an intersection in downtown Englewood. The YouTuber noted it was another anti-Trump thing and engaged with the family in an initially mocking tone. As the trio of protesters, two older parents and a teenager, engaged Benson, she said she had no problems with what they were doing, as Benson is nearly entirely anti-government. She, however, wondered where the trio was months ago when the Biden administration was in power. Her typical provocation did not turn into a typical escalation, and the family seemed to be innocent enough to leave alone, as Benson ended up commending them for their time protesting and moved up the street to the next group of protesters. Benson heard shouting as she crossed the street and moved towards the group of protesters. A young blonde woman was screaming, "He's going to ruin your life!" at the group. It was determined by Benson that the woman was a pro-Trump counter-protester who was aggressively engaging the old ladies, and Benson stepped up when the blonde woman targeted her with insults. Not one to back down, Benson asked one of the anti-Trump protesters to hold Slabby's leash, then approached the Trump supporter and tried to record the woman's face. Harsh words were exchanged, and the blonde woman attempted to strike the phone out of Benson's hand, followed by a strike toward Benson's face that failed to connect. Having missed, the woman went to her car, but was initially blocked from leaving by Benson, who recorded her license plate and the passengers in the car. After retrieving her dog and almost getting in another altercation with an anti-Trump protester, who expressed loudly her desire not to be filmed, Benson left the area, returning to the family she had previously encountered. She then flagged down an Englewood police cruiser and asked to start a report with the officers. Benson seemed surprised when the officers did not recognize her or her name, and refused to stop her live stream to rewind and show the officers the incident that she had filmed. Benson gave the officers a description of the vehicle and the woman, and claimed the woman was clearly inebriated and a danger to other citizens. She promised that she would follow up after the live stream by emailing the officers a copy of her video of the incident, along with the license plate number from the vehicle the woman was driving. The YouTuber has not posted an update on her YouTube channel since the incident. We will continue to monitor her social media for updates as they happen. Delete Laws tries to be the twittiest twit on Twitter. In what should have been the most glorious day of his career, with the supposed printing of his long-awaited board game, Jose Chili de Castro ignored fans who were seeking updates on his product in order to attempt to recruit his fans to participate in yet another Twitter war. DeCastro begged his fans in a YouTube community post on Friday to join a Twitter thread posted by user Police Cams on the service. The thread showed DeCastro's interaction with police officers from a 2023 incident in Apple Valley, California, where he insulted and degraded officers on the scene, but eventually beat the ticket. This was the infamous incident where DeCastro stalked the officers through the streets of Apple Valley before being pulled over for using his phone while driving. After the incident, DeCastro approached a group of children standing in line for an ice cream truck and was essentially told to go away, as they had no interest in his whining. DeCastro had previously monitored other threads on the service involving the same footage, and had a negative reaction from Twitter users when he identified himself as the person in the video. The last time the footage was posted, DeCastro engaged negatively with a former associate and ended up making a debunked claim that he was extremely successful and had 1,000 pre-sales for his board game. This time, as DeCastro was insulted in the lengthy thread, he posted a link from his YouTube community page begging for help from his YouTube supporters. A small sample of the messages he was attempting to counter included from Sean Trafford. "If you talk to someone on the street like that, you would be lying on the street, so why do you think it's okay for you to talk to a person who saves lives and tries to do his job?" Holo Thunder writes, "I can't stand these morons who think it's cool to talk tough and disrespectful to a cop just because they know a few laws. Idiots. That cop might try and save your life one day." Philosopher King Oracle. "I can't remember this guy's name, but he's rather infamous for doing this sort of thing. I think he got 3 years in jail, but not for this particular incident." At John B. Club writes, "He just wanted to tell someone he was a law scholar. Ha 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 ha. Beta male doing beta male shit. If hands would have been laid on him, he would have cried. I promise you, and you would have let out a squeal like Ned Flanders." At Ray Ford Steel 57 writes, "What a fucking child. Encouraging a confrontation for likes? Act like a fucking 4-year-old and then act like you accomplished something by intentionally treating another person like a piece of shit? Well done, constitutional scholar. Now go study being a fucking adult." Unfortunately for the self-taught constitutional law scholar, no help arrived in the thread from his YouTube channel. The thread largely continues, as of press time, with dozens of insults of DeCastro, with a sparse collection of pro-DeCastro posts from known supporters. The Twitter incident comes on a day where DeCastro should have been celebrating. He dramatically announced that his constitutional headquarters board game had been completed Thursday night, and that it had been headed for its first printing on Friday. Instead of continuing the hype for his incredible achievement he said he'd achieved, he spent most of Friday begging for support from his fandom, as he was again being decimated in yet another Twitter fight that was out of his control. DeCastro's actions did nothing to help friend Craig Henry, who is sitting in jail in Vermilion County, Indiana. While previously preaching that Henry's plight was at the top of his attention span, DeCastro has failed to show his increased support for his friend over the past week. The YouTuber's GoFundMe account, created on behalf of Henry, has stalled at $265, taking in no new money for Friday, and being bested by Henry's previous self-run GoFundMe campaign, which took in $20 for the day. While enough to edge out Lane Myers' Give, Send, Go campaign's take of $10, it was bested by newcomer Clash with Bow for Friday's crowdsourcing title, as that campaign took in $575 for the day. This is a developing news story.